So hey guys, should say good morning, but it's whatever. I'm recording this one pretty early while I'm on the way to my day jobs, or one of my day jobs, I should say. And I saw a video yesterday while I was just going through uh, my PlayStation catalog and just going through a whole bunch of. I was playing a game, I think I was playing Black Ops 6, and I was just killing time with zombies and just going through, not really paying attention too much. And I was actually I was watching a video that had to do with Destiny 2, and like I don't know how I'm gonna approach this, because I don't know where I don't know what to really say in regards to everything that's going on right now. But for those of you that who aren't really in the know about Destiny that much, it's it's not in a super great state, but it's not in a terrible state either. But it's basically everybody right now is just waiting for something to happen, waiting for it to either be good again or waiting for it to be like just, I don't know, I guess not really, um, not really, if you can call it, not really profitable, but not super successful, basically. That's really all that people are waiting for. Because over this past, I guess you could say 6 months, but I mean, it's really been going on for longer than that. But for these past 6 months, basically at the end of this last expansion, or big story expansion of the Final Shape. Ever since the end of that, it's kind of just been a back and forth of we're in a good place and then we're not, but then we are again and then we aren't. And right now it's kind of gotten to a tipping point to where, you know, right now the numbers, I'm not sure about the console numbers because no one really I don't think a lot of people have a lot of data to that. But at least when it comes to PC numbers, in regards to Steam numbers, and I know that those aren't super accurate all the time, but according to a lot of people, or at least a lot of sources, that the numbers of people the number of people that are playing Destiny 2 right now has hit kind of not an all-time low, but it's just at a very, very, very low point. And that's because this past winter event that's about to be ending soon, that it was very buggy. And in this whole episodic content thing that they're trying, they're not people aren't as excited about it as they thought that we would be. And personally, let me just say this. I'm just gonna tell you straight up where I'm coming from when it comes to being a Destiny like fan. Personally, I never had an Xbox, so I was never able to play or experience Halo. I know Halo. I obviously, everybody knows Halo. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Master Chief is. Everybody knows who Cortana is. Everybody knows a lot of these major characters, and the the general like the generalization of Halo in a nutshell. I'm pretty sure most people know about that, me included. And I know that, and I know that Bungie made Halo. I know that. I know that there were some other people involved in it, but I know that they're one of the bigger developers of it. And so, like, the thing that the thing is that I've been playing Destiny pretty much. I think it's been not like since it came out, but because I didn't play the beta, and I didn't play the beta. I don't believe I did, but like I started playing it like when it like officially released, like maybe a week or two after it like released, I think. So I've been playing D1 like like a week or two after it came out, or maybe a month after it came out. I'm not really sure because I was young when it came out. Like I was a teenager, but um, and I've kind of followed it, and I've had like some ups and downs. I've had some peaks and valleys of like when I play it a lot, when I don't play it, when I'm really locked into it, and I'm keeping up to date with the news and everything that has to do with it, and I'm looking stuff up. I'm watching YouTube videos on these people, guides, all these things. But I gotta be honest, up until this point, like I've tried when it comes to Destiny 2, I've really tried, at least over these past like 3 to 5 months, I've really tried to re-download it multiple times. And like I've given the game like a day and a half every time. Like a day and a half of time for me to just try to like give me something. Give me something that I can like I can like grasp on like getting back into the swing of things. Because like I desperately want to like find my love for Destiny again. Because I really enjoy it. I think it's a really fun game. I think it's really cool. I think it's very, very pretty, very stylistic, very, it has a lot of experimentation, at least, at the time. But, but now every time that I re-download it and I try to like do any of the content on it, whether it be the episodic content that I have access to or the many other activities that might be like event exclusive or not, or just regular old content, like I always find myself like not being engaged enough. And maybe that's because I've just played the game for too long, so I know everything. I know a lot about it, so I know what to expect, and it's not really like surprising me anymore. But I don't know. Like I've really tried, and I just don't really know what to do. And I know that it's okay, like to take breaks. I know it's okay to take breaks from a game. I've taken many breaks from games before, especially Destiny. Like where like there'll be a month or two that I'm like really locked into it, and like I'm playing it every single day, staying up late to play it, staying like waking up super early to play it, stuff like that. But lately, for these past 3 to 5 months, I haven't really had that, and I really want to. But for some reason, I just can't find it. I'm not really sure why. Like, I try the new stuff that's in there. I try to look at some of the things that I can earn. I look at all the armor that I have, all the weapons, everything like that. I look up new videos on like what builds I can do with the different like supers and all of the prismatic stuff. And and don't get me wrong, prismatic is awesome. And the weapons in D2 are amazing. They're great. But that kind of leads me to like one of the core issues that people are talking about, which is like the debate on whether you want like whether you want crafting in D2 or whether or not you want RNG. And to kind of like put some context to that, whereas like when it comes to crafting, what that is basically like you're doing content, but you're doing like not like super end game stuff, but like you're doing like raids and you're doing like nightfalls, and you get these red border weapons. You get red border weapons basically from the most up to date content, or the, I guess you could say like the, I don't want to say sponsored content because that's not what it is. It's like the the more focused content, because they'll have little like Destiny 2 will have these like little yellow blips next to like next to activities, and underneath the activity it'll tell you, oh, if you complete this objective you get this, or if you do it at a certain difficulty you get this, right? And so you're going through the content, you're going through everything, and you get these red borders, right? And if you activate a certain amount of them, you unlock that pattern for that weapon. And so then you could go to a crafting station on a different planet, and then you can unlock that weapon, and you can just craft it and level it up by using it, or you can level it up by just paying for the upgrades, which most people do because there's so much resources or whatever. There's not really a drought of resources that everybody doesn't have, because I mean there's not really a whole bunch else you can use your resources on anyways. So you should have enough to at least upgrade it, but I mean most people will either do a mix of both, where they're like using it to upgrade it and level it up by killing stuff, or they're just paying for the upgrade, depending on if they've got a lot of resources or not. And then they just put whatever mods on it they want, and they craft basically the perfect gun. Um, and that's what they do. They craft the perfect gun, and then they're done. They have the perfect gun. They can just use it whenever they want, and then like it's you're done. Like you don't have to work hard anymore. You don't have to do that content, that specific content that goes towards that craftable weapon. You don't have to do that anymore. But then with RNG, you're basically just going through it whatever, and then you are betting on the chance to get a certain weapon with a certain roll of perks. And recently there was a thing in the community of weight gate, which was basically like, oh, are these perks weighted against you? Like, are you going to get more common perks that you don't really want? Are you going to get those more often than you're going to get, the ones that you're looking for? And then people collected data. It was like a week long thing, or like a 2 week long thing. I don't remember how long it was going on for, but it had confirmed that, like, yeah, there is a bit of perk weighting. Like like there was a bit of perk manipulation going on, because RNG is like, it's kind of a hard thing to actually like to utilize in a looter shooter, because like you can only have so many things go in so many directions, and then eventually things are going to start being the same. So then, you know, the so then like Bungie came out, and then they were like, yeah, like we saw this data, and we now have like refined the RNG engine or whatever, and now we're kind of just in this limbo state of like, who wants crafting and who wants RNG. Personally, like, I can't do either. Personally, I can't do either, and because I don't have a lot of weight in this argument, because I don't really have time for raids. I don't have time for like I have time for Nightfalls, but only like the second class of difficulty that's like required or whatever. So I mean, like I don't get a lot of time for that stuff. I mean, I tried, I did, I tried raiding, and I like and I enjoy raiding. I think raiding is really fun. The times that I've done it, like I tried to do Vow of the Disciple. I tried to do Vow day one to the point where like I was literally staying up past like morning or whatever. I think I stayed up until like maybe 4 a.m. something like that. I don't remember, but I stayed up with a bunch of people trying to do it, and it was a fun experience. Even though like we didn't really finish it, it was still a fun experience. We at least got to the end, and I enjoyed that. And then I've done Vault of Glass like a bunch of times because trying to get a Vex Mythoclast is still something that I still haven't done. I never got it in D1. I still haven't gotten it in D2. And I know there's that one video of of like of of Datto like responding to somebody saying something about Vex Mythoclast, saying that by now he should have one. But I mean, there are just some people who just don't have certain exotics and certain weapons, either because they don't play the content or they haven't gotten it dropped because it's from a specific place. You know, so I mean, like I've done a lot of the content in it. Like I went through Final Shape, the story and everything. I went through a lot of that stuff, and like when the episodes first started coming out, I did try to like get into them, and I was into them for a little bit. But now with this stuff, like 2025 is really like, at least by most people's standards or most people's like theories or whatever, is that 2025 is going to be a year where it really asks the question, can Destiny change? Can it be what it was, or can it be different? Can it actually like make a difference and like maybe change up the content, or can it do something different? Because there are a lot of games coming out that are around the same categories as Destiny 2, but they have a lot of things that D2 doesn't have, but D2 can't implement them because they have a smaller team. Like over the course of the previous year, like they've had layoffs, and they've had to like cut people, and they've had people move around and stuff like that. I'm not sure the specifics of it, um, but like things have changed, and like so they have a smaller team working on stuff, so it's a bit harder for them to like respond as quickly and like do a whole bunch of things like on the fly like they used to do. I mean, they still get stuff done pretty quick, but it only depends on what they do really quick. Because a funny thing that happened was when this most recent like winter event came out, there was a bug that made the event card free. It was literally free. It did not have any price at all. So you could easily just hit upgrade card, and then you would have it for free. And then they literally patched it within the day. They patched it within the day, maybe like hours, maybe like half a day's worth of time went by maybe, and then they immediately got rid of it, and they immediately like changed it to where the price was then there, so you had to pay silver for it, which is the premium currency. So it's like everybody was like quick to like catch up on that and be like, oh, so when it's super fast and it has to do with like you know spending money, you change it pretty quick. But when it comes to like all these other problems that we're telling you about, it takes y'all like super long to even do one of these problems. So it's like yes and no, because obviously the price on an item is going to take less time to fix than like another problem that is maybe a bit more complex. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my thinking, because I mean, I don't know. Like I don't remember all of the problems that people are talking about, and most people are like, oh, just make a D3, make a sequel, make a D3, make a D3, because that'll give you the chance to like put everything in the game that we want and everything. It's just like, but I don't really know if that would really fix anything either. Like because if you think about it this way, if they were to make a D3 and they had absolutely everything in the game that you wanted, it might, like everything that the community wanted, it probably wouldn't be as good as we think that it would. Because I get it. There are things from like, at least when it comes to like Astrocross's video, because like I watched it last night on like, I think it was called like the hurdle that D2 has to overcome in like 2025 or something like that. But like he was talking about like how there's like stuff in Path of Exile and Warframe and a bunch of these other like MMO type of games that they have things that would be cool to would be cool to implement inside of a D3 type game if they were to make a D3. But like I agree with what he said, where he was like, it's hard to do that because they have a smaller team. So they would have to take time to do that. But in order to take time to do that, they would also have to make D2 at least stable enough to where they're getting a constant stream of players. But they're not. There are these other games like Path of Exile, like Warframe, like that are in all of these other like newer games that are pulling people's attention because D2 isn't really doing anything new. They're not like doing anything super out there anymore. And because and because it's really interesting how like I did not think that I was going to like Black Ops 6 as much as I do. I don't love the game. I don't think it's the greatest Black Ops that there is, obviously. I don't think that it's the greatest Call of Duty that there is, obviously. But it's like I've played more of Black Ops 6 than like within these last like couple of months that I've had the game. I've played that more than I've played D2. And I have like and I'm just talking about in these couple of months, because obviously like if because obviously like I've been like, if I looked at my hours on PlayStation on how long I've played D2, it's probably within the multiple hundreds. I'd probably have to guess it's around the 400-hour mark. But I mean, I'll take 50 of those hours away because of like if I have it on in the background while it's in orbit and I'm like doing something around the house, like cleaning or making food or doing dishes or like taking a shower, you know, playing with my kids, doing things like that. Like it could be in the background and that would contribute to my time anyways. So I can just take 50 of those hours away and just say that I'm around like maybe the the 350 to 450 range or something like that. I don't know. But I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time in D2 and in D1, but it's just like I want it to be interesting again. I want it to be fun again. And it is, there are certain aspects of it that are fun that do pull me back. Like the aspect of like getting guns, looking at the rolls, looking at what's cool, looking at what's not. There are certain weapons that come out where I'm just like, man, I really want that weapon. But then I think of like what I have to do to get the weapon, Like, I could just use Vex as like Vex Mythoclast as an example because again, I don't have one. So, and I'd really and I have like an ornament for it. I have like I have like a thing for it, and I'd really like to use it, but I don't have it. I have pretty much almost every exotic that I want in the game, but Vex is just the only one that I don't have. So, but it's like when I think about what I have to do in order to get it, it makes me not want to get it because there's just too much that I have to do in order to even have a chance to get it. Because yeah, I can probably do challenges that could like increase my chances of getting it. But again, the amount of work that I have to do to it to achieve that is a lot more time than I have. So, and I get it. That's more of a me issue where it's just like it's just time management with like my day-to-day life and like going to work, coming back, it being either late at night or whatever, and then just, being tired, and then like obviously I won't be able to do anything. So it's like I get that. But then even when I do have free time, it still is difficult to even like muster up the muster up like the time to do it because it would take multiple hours because that's just how it is. It just takes multiple hours. Any raid or any like super high difficulty content is going to take at least 1 or 2 hours depending on who you are and depending on like how many times you've done it in the past or whatever. Because there are some veteran players who will take maybe an hour and a half to do something hard, um, content wise, and they could do it pretty successfully either on their own or with people that they already have. But with casual players, what are they going to do? They're going to go to an LFG thing on Destiny 2. They're going to try to find somebody. They run through it. They could die a few times. They could like fail maybe a couple of times, and like they'll be done within like an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on who's going with them and depending on their own ability and their own guns and all that stuff and their light level and everything. But it's like I don't really know if a D3 would like solve everything. Like I know that it would make it better probably. I know that it would probably give them an opportunity to put things in the game that we would really really enjoy as a community, like being able to decorate your own ship, being able to, you know, and I don't even think that, if I'm being honest, I don't know if they would even be able to do that on like decorating your own ship because there are some ships, like I don't know about you, but every single ship I own is pretty small. It's not like a it's not like a huge like Millennium Falcon size ship. It's a small ship. Like personally, the one I use a lot is the one that looks like a sedan. It looks like a car, and it's got like a blinking light whenever it's turning and whatever. And it's like it's an old car version of a ship, and it looks cool. But if I were to put that down somewhere and see the size of it, probably I could probably gauge a better thing for it. But it just doesn't look that big enough to like actually have me walk around in it and like decorate the stuff in it. But I mean that's just me looking at it from whatever. Because I could be totally wrong. I do know that there obviously like I can probably assume that there are some big enough ships that were like, hey, if you want to customize the inside of it, you can. With a bunch of different ornaments, a bunch of different like seasonal things if you wanted, or a bunch of like raid things if you wanted to, like, oh, putting Riven's skull somewhere, or I don't know, putting Vault of Glass, putting Atheon's head as like a chandelier, doing things like that. It could like you could do that. I'm pretty sure there are ships where you could possibly do that. But for a lot of these other ships, they're kind of small. So I mean, the most you could do is just decorate the inside of like your cockpit. like where your guardian sits, and you would like be in first person, and you could like have all of these like little things hanging around that that are like achievements that you have or things like that. But you know like a D3 would be great. I don't know what the story would be, because right now the current thing that we're going with was, you know, the first the first bit of the final shape that ended and that led into the episodes, I believe, was the Vex. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But the first episode was like all about the Vex. And then the second episode is about the Scorn. And this third one is going to be the Hive, with us fixing up and going back to the Dreadnought. And then us possibly taking the Dreadnought to Frontiers. I could be totally wrong on the timeline of that. And if I am wrong, like, you can correct me. It's fine. I don't really care. But it's like, but the end point is supposed to be Frontiers. It's this new thing that they're calling Frontiers, and they've alluded to it. We don't really know a whole lot about it. We know that we're going to a new place, and to me, that just screams, oh, we're going to a new galaxy. We're going to a new like solar system. We're going to a new place that in the solar system that we've never been before. We're going outside of the solar system to go to a new galaxy. You know, so it could be that, and that could be the most likely answer. I'm not really sure, but at least to me, that's what it screams. I could be wrong, but at least to my brain, it screams, oh, we're going to a new place out there. We're going to a new solar system. We're going to a new system of planets and stars and moons and other planets that we've never been to before, which would be cool because it would give them an opportunity to expand upon just our regular Milky Way galaxy around all the other planets that are just like, oh, Mars, Earth, the moon, Venus, whatever. Like, it would give us an opportunity to like look at new planets. They could actually put in some new stuff that they want to put in. They wouldn't have to just like work around like, okay, so we have this planet that's from our solar system that we have to put in the game and like put it around this and like do whatever. But now it's like, oh, they can make a whole completely new planet that we've never seen before that has totally new like environments and totally new like new things, which would be cool, you know? But, there's also like, there's also the thing about like, if a D3 does come out, would it like bring everybody back? And I don't really think that every single person, I don't think that it would hit record highs as they think that it would. It would probably still be successful. It would probably still be like semi-profitable, but I don't know if it would like get everybody back, and everybody would just be like locked in every day, whatever, and then player numbers would skyrocket back to what it was. I don't know if that would do it. Personally, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That could be the case. It could be possible. It is possible. But this current state of the game is that like I watch the stuff about D2, and it's kind of like that thing of like I guess Squidward looking down from his window, looking at SpongeBob and Patrick having fun or whatever. It's like I'm inside the house. I'm looking out at D2, and I'm looking at D2 content, and I'm looking at people do it, and I'm looking at people like have fun with it. Like, I'm really thankful, and I'm really like enjoying, like, I think it's Bradley. It's Bradley. Um, a guy named Bradley is going through D2 for the first time. Like, he's playing the game for the first time, and he's doing all of these things for the first time. Like, I think I just saw a thumbnail of him doing Vault of Glass for the first time. And that's really cool. You know, getting people like that, getting new content creators or new people in general, it doesn't have to be content creators, but getting new people to play and experience D2 and not burn out and not be super overwhelmed within the first like hour or within the first like half day of playing the game is a win. It's great because it shows that like this game is really fun. Sure, it has like some really, really confusing UI issues. Sure, it has some really, really confusing like icons, objectives, whatever. It's not very clear on what you're doing. It's not very like it's still kind of not very new player friendly because there's a lot of things that just get popped out to you as soon as you start the game. Like, but that being said, it still is a fun game. It's still really fun. And, you know, the fact that Bradley is playing the game for the first time and he's having fun doing it is really cool. You know, I really enjoy watching him play that. Like, play the game for the first time so that he can experience it. Just like a lot of other people can experience it. So that, like, opens new doors for people who are like, hey, I saw this person play it, I'll play it, and they enjoy it, so let me see if I'll enjoy it. So at least it gets them to try it. Because, I mean, like, it's accessible to everybody. Not everything is super accessible because some things are locked behind, like, certain things or certain, like, objectives or certain, like, paid things. But for the most part, a good majority of the game is accessible and you can play it. You know? But it's like, I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. I want, and like, and that's not even talking about like marathon and all that. Like, I don't even want to get into that because, like, unfortunately, I'm not very well informed on it. I can read stuff and I could like look up stuff, but I'm not very well informed on it, so I don't think I can speak on that. But like, when it comes to D2, like, I want it to change and I want it to be different, but not so different that like it's a completely new game. But I at least want a reason to actually like come back. I want a reason to like re-download it again, clear out my storage for it, delete games so that I can make room for that one, and then like play it for like a good month, play it for like multiple months if I can. Like, I want to do that, you know, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means of what has to change. I don't know if it's the guns that need to change their looks. I don't know if it's the the different like customization things that go on. I don't know if it's the activities that need to rework. I don't know if they need to add new activities. Like, I don't really know. I don't really know the answers to make it different. But I do know that like something's got to change. Something's got to happen. I'm not sure what that is, but this year will be kind of a tipping point for D2 and for D2's players, because there are still people that check in, there are still people that play it and everything, but they're not playing it every day like they used to. People are playing other games. They're branching out. And that's no fault of D2. Like, D2's trying, but you know, all these other games, they're starting to pull people because they have other things that D2 just isn't doing at the time or right now. So it kind of just like pulls their interest, and then they play it and they love it, and then they just keep playing that other game, whatever it might be, you know. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me. I might try to record something else later on today, depending on what comes out today when it comes to like game news or anything like that, or anything that interests me, I guess. Um, yeah, so I think that's gonna be it. Uh, Hope everybody has a good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, all that stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Okay? See ya.